Welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. Hey, if your car is cranking up but it doesn't start, well, it could be a bad fuel pump. Let's talk about how to fix that. See you right after this. All right, so when you're replacing your fuel pump, most of the time it's located in the back seat, especially in newer cars these days. And it's usually going to be the cover with the cord sticking out of it. Now that cord or that wire provides power to the fuel pump. It's a positive wire and it carries about 12 volts of power from the fuel pump relay, which is usually located under the hood in the main fuse box. And that's usually a black plastic box near the battery, or the relay could be inside the vehicle. And that's usually on the left side of the dash or on the driver's side underneath near the steering wheel. Another function of the wire is that it sends a resistance signal to the fuel gauge on your dashboard. So as the fuel level changes, the resistance changes. And that's what moves the needle on your dashboard fuel gauge. Now, knocking or tapping on the fuel pump can sometimes get it working again, but this is only a temporary fix for a bad pump, and that's what this was. Well, why does this work sometimes? The electric motor inside the fuel pump has carbon brushes and contacts that can stick sometimes, so a sharp tap or knock can temporarily loosen them. Knocking can dislodge any debris or sediment that's jamming up the pump, or what they call the pump impeller. That'll get it working again as well. And then sometimes the bearings in the motor are worn out, and that can cause the parts to bind. So knocking can once again free them up temporarily. Now, once again, most fuel pumps are inside the fuel tank, under the rear seat or the back seat, or sometimes in the trunk. And you can also get under the car and tap on the tank itself like we did here. Just don't tap it too hard. You don't want to damage the tank or the pump assembly at all. Now be careful with the knocking because you have gas vapors swirling all around when you're doing this, when you're dealing with fuel pumps. So you don't want any sparks, right? So use a rubber mallet to knock. And if it does work and the car starts up like it does here, then you know the pump is failing, right? You don't necessarily have to keep knocking it. That lets you know it's time to replace the pump right away. Now the cheaper way is to check the fuel pump relay and the fuse first, as we spoke of earlier. You can do that with a fuse tester, which is what we did. And it's much cheaper to replace a bad relay or fuse than actually replacing the fuel pump. Now, after you've disconnected the main fuel lines, which is what we just saw, that's the fuel supply line and the fuel return line, then you're going to have to tackle the vapor emissions line, which is a smaller diameter hose, and this captures all the fuel vapors. It's part of the emission system. And then there's also the vent line, and that just allows air to enter the tank as fuel is consumed in the car. It prevents vacuum buildup that could damage or collapse the tank. Then you'll have a few other disconnections to make, like the wiring harness for the pump power and the fuel level sender, and the fuel filter connections. Most of these connections on modern vehicles are done with quick connect fittings rather than the old hose clamps. So all you have to do is push to connect, and you may need some special tools like we're using here to disconnect them. Okay, so it's time to remove the fuel pump lock ring, and that's what this is. It's a circular metal ring that has tabs or notches around the outer edge, and it secures the fuel pump assembly into the top of the fuel tank. It keeps it seated there. It creates a seal to prevent fuel vapors and liquid from escaping as well. Now you can use large channel lock pliers to remove it, or a spanner wrench, and they also have specialty fuel pump tools. But right here we just have a pry bar to knock it from underneath the locking tabs to get it out. Sometimes you just got to work with what you have. Most of the time you're going to turn it counterclockwise to take it off. Just try not to bend or damage it when you're doing this, because then you're just going to have to replace it. You won't be able to seal the fuel pump properly if that happens. Okay, now when you're lifting the fuel pump out of the tank, you don't want to tilt it or angle it as you lift. As you will see, the pump assembly is longer than you think it is. So it needs to come out as vertically as possible. If you tilt it, it can damage the components or even get it stuck in the opening. You definitely want to support the weight when you're lifting it out because it's going to be full of fuel. So you want to use both hands and just lift it up steadily without jerking it or any sudden moves. Now the fuel level sender, that's the float arm, that's very delicate and it's easy to be bent. So you want to be careful with that. It usually extends out from the main assembly. And if it gets bent, that can cause your fuel gauge on your dashboard to give an inaccurate reading. Watch for the fuel lines and connectors. Make sure they're not in the way so they won't get twisted or pinched between the opening and the pump as you lift it out. You want to keep all the electrical connections away from sharp edges on the tank. As you see, the pump assembly barely even fits through that opening. You're going to see fuel or gas pour out of the assembly as you lift. So you want to make sure that you got cleanup supplies like shop rags or drain pans or buckets ready. If this is a pump that you want to put back in, you want to take this chance to look for signs of any contamination on the pickup screen, any rust or dirt or water in the fuel. This will tell you about the condition of the tank. And if you got a short memory, make sure you take photos so you can remember how it was before you removed it so you know how to put it back in. Now, if this is a pump that you're going to replace like we're doing here, you want to take special precautions when you're taking out the old pump and putting in the new pump because the pump is an electrical device. You want to look for any exposed wiring or damaged insulation. Electrical parts that have been soaked in fuel are very dangerous, so you want to keep all electrical connections away from metal surfaces. Another thing to look out for is that a bad pump may have shed metal particles or pump impeller pieces. Now, these can fall back into the tank and contaminate the new pump. So you may want to consider having the tank cleaned if there's a lot of debris in it. Always examine the pickup screen. What is the pickup screen? That's usually located on the very bottom of the pump assembly, and it can snag on the tank opening or even internal baffles in the tank. You definitely don't want to let it drag or catch on the tank edges. A clogged screen can also cause the pump to go bad. The most important thing that I would say about old pumps is that you want to look for any debris. They're known for shedding debris. So you may want to take a sample of the fuel and look for any water, rust, or any other contamination in it. And then you can decide from that if the tank needs cleaning. Okay, so when working on a fuel pump, you want to make safety the priority. You want to work in a well-ventilated area, preferably outdoors. No smoking, no sparks, no open flames anywhere nearby. Disconnect the battery negative terminal. Have a fire extinguisher on hand. Rated for flammable liquids. Avoid static electricity. Touch a grounded metal surface first. Then you want to depressurize your fuel system. You want to remove the fuel pump fuse and run the engine until it stalls. This is going to relieve the pressure in the fuel lines before you start disconnecting them from the fuel pump. Also, you want to work with as little fuel as possible in the tank, a quarter tank or less. You can siphon it or drain the fuel first. And finally, have approved fuel containers ready for any spillage.